Dun, 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 dun. 20 years ago, J.K. Rowling's famous boy wizard made his big screen debut. Let's talk about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary today. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2001 fantasy flick Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, also known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Released by Warner Bros. And directed by Chris Columbus, based on J.K. Rowling's book of the same name, produced by David Heyman, and screenplay by Steve Kloves. The first installment of the film franchise. Film stars Danie Radcliffe as the titular character, along with Rupert Grint and Emma Watson as his two friends and colleagues. It follows Harry's first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry as he discovers that he is a famous wizard and begins his formal wizarding education. Yes, this was pretty darn big and what have you. Well, and what's more is Chris Columbus was being chosen to create the film from a short list of directors that also included Rob Reiner and even Steven Spielberg. And J.K. Rowling insisted that the entire cast be British and Irish, with the three leads chosen in August 2000 following open casting calls. Anyway, this film did pretty well and started off a big franchise. So, here we go. Late one night, Albus Dumbledore and Minerva McGonagall, professors at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, along with the school's groundskeeper, Rubius Hagrid, delivers a recently orphaned infant to a family that he has. Anyway, the little boy with a scar in the form of a lightning bolt on his forehead was Harry Potter. So, 10 years later, Harry's having a difficult life with his family he had been living with for the next few years. His dreadful Aunt Petunia, Uncle Vernon, and Cousin Dudley, the Dursleys. After inadvertently causing an incident during a family trip to London Zoo, Harry begins receiving unsolicited letters by owls, as he, of course, is living in the cupboard under the stairs. Well, apparently, much of this pleasure of the Dursleys, they try something, and, well, they keep going more, even on Sunday when there's no post on there. Anyway, of course, that's, British for male, you know. I'm sure a lot of y'all know that already. Well, after he and the Dursleys flee to an island to avoid more letters, Hagrid appears. Yep. And informs Harry that he is a wizard and has been accepted into Hogwarts against the Dursleys' wishes. Well, he manages to fend off the Dursleys and what have you, especially when he gives Dudley a pig's tail, yeah. So, after taking Harry to Diagon Alley to buy his supplies for Hogwarts and a pet owl named Hedwig as a birthday present, Hagrid informs him of his past. Harry's parents, James and Lily Potter, died due to a killing curse at the hands of the malevolent and powerful dark wizard, who of course was known as he who must not be named, Lord Voldemort. Harry, the only survivor in the chaos, thus becomes well known in the wizarding world to everyone as the boy who lived. So Harry enters King's Cross Station to board a train to Hogwarts, and shortly after beginning his journey, as he made onto the Hogwarts Express from platform 9 3/4, he meets some other students. That include Ron Weasley, whom he quickly befriends. Then there's Hermione Granger, an intelligent witch born to non-magical parents, of course, they're called muggles, of course. But anyway, they get to meet, others and what have you. But of course, Harry does meet a little bit of his rival, Malfoy, Draco Malfoy. A boy from a wealthy wizarding family, which, of course, as I mentioned, with whom Harry immediately forms a rivalry with. After arriving at school, the students assemble in the Great Hall, where all the first years are sorted by the Sorting Hat among 4 houses, which they are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Although the Sorting Hat considers playing Harry and Slytherin with Draco, he is placed into Gryffindor alongside Ron and Hermione. Therefore, he gets to meet others, including some of, Ron's, 3 of Ron's brothers. Of course, Percy, who is a prefect, and Fred and George, who are absolutely funny guys and what have you. Anyway, at Hogwarts, Harry begins learning magic spells and discovers more about his past and parents. After recovering the Remembrall of Gryffindor student Neville Longbottom, Harry is recruited for Gryffindor's Quidditch team as a seeker, an extraordinarily rare feat for first-year students. On their way to the common room one night, the staircase changed paths, staircases, leading Harry and Ron and Hermione to the forbidden floor of Hogwarts. The 3 discover a giant 3-headed dog named Fluffy in a restricted area of the school. Ron then insults Hermione after being embarrassed by her in a charms lesson where, they do the Wingardium Leviosa spell, which unfortunately causes Hermione to lock herself in the girls' bathroom on Halloween night. She's attacked by a marauding troll, but Harry and Ron save her, befriending her in the process. The children later find out that Fluffy is guarding the Philosopher's, or Sorcerer's Stone to us, an object that has the power to turn a metal into gold and produce a potion that grants immortality. Harry suspects that the potions teacher, Severus Snape, who is also head of Slytherin House, is trying to obtain the stone in order to return Voldemort to physical form. Hagrid accidentally reveals to the trio that Fluffy will fall asleep if music is played to him, so the 3 decide that night to try and find the stone before Snape does. They discover an already asleep Fluffy and face a series of safeguards, including a deadly plant known as Devil's Snare, a room filled with aggressive flying keys that bruise Harry, and a giant chess game that knocks out Ron, which of course is like wizard chess. That's real. That part was pretty funny. I'll tell you more later on. But for now, I'm gonna get to the ending. You know the procedure. 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, which I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have, keep going. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. After getting past the tasks, Harry discovers that it was Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Professor Quirrell, who was trying to claim the stone. Snape had actually been protecting Harry all along. Quirrell removes his turban and reveals a weak Voldemort living on the back of his head. Through an enchantment placed by Dumbledore, Harry finds the stone in his possession, which of course... it was looking through the mysterious and magical mirror of Erised, which is where, in one scene, Harry manages to see a vision of his parents. From which he manages to escape from the caretaker of Hogwarts, Argus Filch, and his cat, Mrs. Norris, with an invisibility cloak. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yes. Voldemort attempts to bargain the stone from Harry in exchange for reviving his parents, but Harry refuses. Quirrell attempts to kill Harry in response. However, he is instead killed after Harry ends up burning his skin, reducing Quirrell to dust and causing Voldemort's soul to rise from his ashes. Harry is knocked unconscious when Voldemort's soul passes through him. Harry recovers, in the school's hospital wing with Dumbledore at his side. Dumbledore explains that the stone has been destroyed and that Ron and Hermione are safe. Dumbledore also reveals how Harry was able to defeat Quirrell. When Harry's mother died to save him, her death gave Harry a love-based protection against Voldemort. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are rewarded with house points for their heroic performances, tying them for first place with Slytherin. Dumbledore then awards 10 points to Neville for attempting to stop the trio, granting Gryffindor the House Cup, and Harry returns home for the summer, happy to finally have a real home in Hogwarts. End of story, my friends. Sorry, a moment of silence. Alright, so what did I think of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? I love it. I've seen this movie numerous times, and I've got it on VO cassette, but I don't have my own VCR. And I managed to watch it on Peacock. Unfortunately, just before I ended my premium subscription, but hey, I'm cool with that. I only have that in the second and third movies on VO cassette. Well, I've got the rest on DVD. Anyway, this film was amazing. I loved it. This was what really got me into liking the franchise. It convinced me to read the books. Why have you? Yes, I read all 7 books. I've even played the Sorcerer's Stone video game, which my nephews had on the PlayStation, and I beat that. And later on, I actually had the next generation version of it for PlayStation 2, which was even more fun. I mean, I know it was kind of a little, I know a lot of people didn't quite like it, but I, on the other hand, actually did. It kind of felt like it was an even bigger real world experience. Well, open world experience is what I meant. Sorry, my mistake. Anyway, nevertheless, the film went on to become the highest grossing film of 2001 and the second highest grossing film of all time. It went on to have 7 sequels, beginning with The Chamber of Secrets, which was released the following year, and ended with Deathly Hallows Part 2 just a decade later, nearly 10 years after this film's release. The film was nominated for many awards, including Academy Awards for Best Original Score, Best Art Direction, and Best Costume Design. Of course, the score was done by the legendary John Williams, who, of course, did numerous scores for numerous movies, from Star Wars to Indiana Jones, from Superman to Jurassic Park. I gotta say, that was really good. Now, there were a few differences from the book, but, now there were other minor characters and what have you that were removed and what have you. But anyway, now another thing I forgot to point out during the story is that Harry kind of did get in a bit of a trouble with his friends and, had to go into the dark forest with Malfoy and Hagrid and soon Harry meets a Centaur Firenze. Yes. I especially like when Draco's telling that students aren't allowed in the dark forest, and there's werewolves after we hear it, and Phil's just like, oh, there's more than werewolves in them trees, lad. You can be sure of that. Oh boy, yep. But anyway, nevertheless, the story was absolutely really good, and I enjoyed it. I know they missed some characters and what have you. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. And the Quidditch sequence was pretty good too. Let's see. Now, for the cast, Danie Radcliffe absolutely was superb as Harry Potter. I must admit, he was really good. Playing Ron Weasley as Rupert Grint, who I think was really good too. Emma Watson is Hermione Granger, who I absolutely loved her performance. This is what got me to liking her. Now, for the rest of the cast in alphabetical order is British actor John Cleese, who, of course, recently appeared in the next to last James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan in The World Is Not Enough, and then would become the new cue for Die Another Day, which came out the following year. He plays Sir Nicholas, nearly headless Nick, the ghost of Gryffindor House. Next is Robbie Coltrane, who also appeared in some recent James Bond flicks. He plays Rubius Hagrid, and boy, I gotta tell you, he is one big guy. Yeah. Now, according to one source, Robin Williams was interested in participating, but was turned down for the role because of the strictly British and Irish only rule which Columbus was determined to maintain. Next, we have Warwick Davis, who was best known for playing the Leprechaun in the Leprechaun franchise, well, most of them, as well as Willow. He plays Professor Flitwick, the Charms Master, and he's the head of Ravenclaw House. Yes. He also plays two other roles in the film, the Goblin Head Teller at Gringotts, the Wizard Bank, and dubs the voice of Griphook, who is embodied by Vern Troyer, who recently played Mini-Me in Austin Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me, and then the following year for Austin Powers in Goldmember. Next, playing Vernon Dursley is Richard Griffiths. Yeah, really good. Next, Richard Harris as Albus Dumbledore. Now, Christopher Lee was also offered the role, but he turned it down due to scheduling conflicts because the following month he would be in The Lord of the Rings, which I will be reviewing that franchise next month. Anyway, Ian Hart plays Professor Quirrell. Now, fun fact, I learned David Thewlis auditioned for this part, but however, he would later be cast as a future dark arts teacher, Remus Lupin, in Prisoner of Azkaban. Hart also voiced Voldemort as well. Playing next up is John Hurt, who would later go on to star in Hellboy, and of course, he also was an Alien. He plays Mr. Ollivander, a highly regarded winemaker and the owner of Ollivander's Wine Shop. Next is Alan Rickman, who plays Severus Snape. Yep. Yeah, Tim Roth was the original choice, but he turned it down for the Planet of the Apes remake, which came out that year. Fiona Shaw plays Petunia Dursley. Dame Maggie Smith plays, well, Minerva McGonagall. And finally, we have Julie Walters playing Ron's mother, Molly Weasley, which we'll see more of her. Next, we also have Zoe Wanamaker, who played Madame Hooch, the flying instructor. Tom Felton as Malfoy. Harry Milling as Dudley Dursley. And David Bradley as Mr. Filch. Yes. Oh, there were lots of others. Too many and what have you. I could give a few more. Matthew Lewis and Devon Murray as Neville Longbottom and Seamus Finnegan, two other first-year students at Gryffindor. James and Oliver Phelps played Fred and George. Let's see, and Chris Rankin plays Percy. We also see a little bit of appearance of Bonnie Wright, who plays Ron's young sister Ginny, who, of course, we'll see more of her in the next few movies. Sean Biggerstaff as Oliver Wood, the keeper of the Gryffindor Quidditch team. Jamie Whalen and Joshua Herdman as Crabbe and Goyle, Malfoy's minions. Leslie Phillips voices the Soaring Hat. Yeah, oh wow, there's so many. Like I said, the list goes on. But now I get this out of the way. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is so awesome. It's got great characters, a great story, even though some of it's missing, but I understand, and I have seen an extended version of the film on TV. But anyway, and also a great score from John Williams. So with everything said, would I recommend Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's or Philosopher's Stone? The answer is hell yeah. This is definitely one flick you need to watch. If your kids need to be introduced to Harry Potter, then this is one you gotta check out. And if a kid's watching it, I apologize for my light language. Thank you. But anyway, That's it. That's all I can tell you. So please tell me what your thoughts are on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider check out some of these other fun-filled vids with a little spooktacular or fantasy-type feel to them. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Goosebumps. The upper right-hand corner is my review of R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour. Don't think about it. Both of which are book-based movies. Or if you want something else, though, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent review for the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, aka Ghostbusters Answer the Call. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. Excuse me. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.